Providence Catholic Celtics and the Joliet Catholic Hilltoppers. Just hearing those two team names is enough to get any football fan excited. These two teams are part of one of the most historic rivalries in Illinois high school football. Over the years, their matchup has come to be known simply as the Holy War. Since 1989, they have faced off 17 times, with Providence Catholic leading 9-8. The Hilltoppers took one step closer to evening the series with their 31-21 victory in the state semifinal game last season. Both have tasted their share of postseason glory. The Celtics have won 10 state championships, while the Hilltoppers have claimed 15. Two Catholic powerhouses located just a short distance away. Both schools excel both on the field and in the classroom, but when they meet on the gridiron, it brings the intensity up to 11. Not just for the players, but for anyone that's ever worn their team's colors. Fan bases who inherit the rivalry as a birthright. Players who take to the same field as their fathers and their grandfathers before them. There is never any love lost between these two bitter rivals. Every game, every down, every snap, every play. Every one of these players straps their helmet a little tighter, runs a little harder, pushes themselves beyond their physical limits. Why, you might ask? Because this one just means more. Sure, every game matters, but when you look down the schedule and you see these two teams preparing to square off, you star it, highlight it, and clear your calendar, because there's nowhere else you need to be than right here and right now. The Emerald Isle against the Hill. The night we've all been waiting for, it's the Holy War. It's about to go down at Bishop Caffer Stadium. Providence and JCA coming your way. Please welcome the voices of Providence Catholic football, Eli O'Neill and Luke Volman.
Everyone, and welcome to the first ever Game Night Pregame Show. Thank you all for joining us. I'm Eli O'Neill.
And I'm Luke Volman.
This game is certainly one that's circled on both teams' calendars. JCA is coming off a tough loss to one of the best teams in the state in Mount Carmel 2 weeks ago. And then last week had a bye week due to De La Salle having a forfeit, so they've had 2 weeks to prepare for the season. Meanwhile, the Celtics need a win tonight to get a spot in the playoff. And last week they came off a big win over Marion Catholic.
Eli, the atmosphere is absolutely electric. We have tons of fans and cheerleaders from both sides. Make some noise. Let me hear you guys.
To start off, Coach Matt Steffner, what is it like to prepare for a game like this? Is it different than any other game?
No, I'm not going to say it's just another game, because that'd be an outright lie. No, you prepare all week for this game. You prepare hard. Make sure everything is in line with what coaches say, and then pregame is a little bit different. You got to give them a little talking to about digging down deep, and because this is cross-town rivalry, two Catholic schools. Let's be honest. It's the bragging rights for another year, and it's what it is. It's never going to change. I would expect this place to be packed tonight by the time the varsity game starts, and we'll see. But yeah, it's a good time game.
We are lucky to be joined by the entire trio of WJOL high school football team. The voice of WJOL high school football for over 20 years, Dave Dwyer. He spent over 15 years in the announcer booth calling high school football games. Please also welcome Evan Bredesen. And last but not least, state championship baseball coach, IBCA Hall of Famer, and former Providence Catholic teacher and coach, Joe Rodiguero.
Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us tonight. So what are your thoughts on this rivalry, and why is it different from any other rivalry?
Well, I've been on both sides of the fence. I've coached with this guy over here, Coach Seth. I'm on the Joliet Catholic side with Coach Stone. It's a tremendous rivalry. I coach baseball here, the head coach baseball here at Providence and at Joliet Catholic. So it really doesn't matter. It's a rivalry, and people can, as Coach Seth, he'd be lying if he didn't say you get a little more pumped up whether you're on the baseball field or the football field, and you want to beat your rival. You do. We're all friends before and after the game, but during the game, you want to beat each other's brains out. I mean, it's that intense of a game, not only with football, but with baseball too.
Both teams have a legacy of success. In your eyes, what's been the key of success over the last few decades? Dave, Joe, and Evan, you guys have attended a ton of high school football games, and I'm sure you know a special matchup when you see it. How does JCA and Providence stack up to you guys?
Well, as I always say, and I think Coach Seth would agree with me, you can't win the Kentucky Derby on a mule. You need athletes. You need athletes. And both of these schools have had tremendous athletes. Yeah, coaching becomes a big part, but once the coaching is done, once they get inside the lines there, it's up to the players. And you've got to have confidence in the players that you put on the field to perform at the level that you would like them to do. But if you don't have the players, it just doesn't happen. But as I said before, both of these schools have outstanding athletes over the course of many, many years.
You look at the coaching trees. It all starts with Gordy Gillespie. Then it comes down. Then you have Seth, and then you had Cobbs after Seth. This man here, as far as I'm concerned, the best offensive line coach of all time. He set the standard. His lines were always there to block. Tommy Lenahan now is taking it from Seth, and he's one of the best. You look over at Joliet Catholic, you got Coach Sharp, and you got Coach Jaworski. After Coach Gillespie, Coach Stone, so you have a great legacy there. These guys set the standard, not just for Joliet Catholic and Providence. They set it for the area. I've been at every one of these matchups. I was a senior in high school, the first one in '89. I remember it. Fields, sidelines were different, and it was a tight game. And I'll never forget this. That's the game after the Wednesday game, and Pete Bursich for Providence hurt his ankle that game, or it could have been a different outcome that night.
Gentlemen, thanks again for being here with us tonight, and stay right here. Early chance to catch up with both Coach Jaworski and Coach Clance to get their thoughts on the matchup. Let's take a listen.
The Holy War is, it's one of the great rivalries in the area. It's about kids that kind of grew up together, that chose between two different schools, and being able to kind of come back and compete against each other. It's a really cool opportunity for the community. Cool thing where I know that there was times where there was a huge rivalry and then the game kind of went away. We were able to play them my junior year in the playoffs. And now over the last couple of years, it's been pretty cool to be able to play them in the regular season and then the playoffs also. So I mean, I think kind of revamping and being able to bring some hype to this game is exciting, obviously. But just the tradition and rich history between the two schools is second to none. So we're really excited to always play this game every year. Obviously, there's a lot of buzz around the game, and for us, it's important for us to be able to win 5 to make the playoffs. But this week, it's the same as every week. It's a nameless, faceless opponent. The way we attack Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday will be the same. The way we play Friday will be the same. With the thought being, we don't want to elevate to the game. We're going to fall back on our preparation, and that'll be the message constantly. Where the game battle is won before it's fought, Monday through Thursday, and Friday just wake up, do your job, and we'll go from there. Well, we always feel good. I mean, we hope to go in every single game with the mentality that we're going to win the thing. But again, we got a great opponent, great history, great team, big offensive line. Very talented, skilled players on the offense, great defense consistently, and again, one of the most storied programs in the state. So we're excited to be able to clash off with them.
Okay, I'm Aaron Stockton. I'm here with Coach Jaws, and I'm going to be asking him questions about this week's Providence versus JCA game. So, Coach, what is it like every time you go there and play Providence?
You know, you're always expecting, a really good game, competitive game. Tight score, come down to a couple plays, but hostile environment, whether we're there or they're at our place, but just a really competitive game.
All right, and then what is it like sort of preparing for this game every year?
I think it's fun. I think it's cool for both schools, school communities, the fan bases. For as a coach, I don't think you prepare any differently, because just every game, football, you only get 9 games. So the preparation, you can't really prepare more for one game than the other. I think you put the equal amount of preparation in. I think there's equal kind of amount of excitement for every game just because there's so few of them. But, I think it creates a lot of excitement throughout the communities.
about it. Is there anything like you as coaches might do differently, depending on like playoffs? I know we played them last year in the semifinals. Is there anything differently, like maybe you'll up practice a bit more in the playoffs?
No, I don't think so. I think, like I said before, the preparation for each game is unique in itself, and we happen to play them week 9. If we play them again in the playoffs, we might scheme things a little bit differently here and there, and throw some curveballs in there, or different formation, different concept. But I think the week-to-week preparation is always kind of the same.
And how do you think this is like one of the important rivalries for JCA to have with Providence?
Yeah, I think so. I think when you look at throughout our schedule, in our conference, I think there's, a lot of teams. It's fun playing a lot of the programs out there, and some of the top schools, and programs with a lot of tradition. And I think that's what Joliet Catholic and Providence both have, is a lot of tradition throughout their program. So yeah, it creates a fun environment.
All right, Coach. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Let's go Hill.
All right, go Hill.
Sorry for the extended break, everybody. There's an injured player on the field. We hope he's all right. So thanks to both coaches for making some time for us. Big shout out to the JCA Broadcasting Club and the Celtic broadcast crew for putting those videos together. Now, before we move on, Luke, what is your favorite memory from this rivalry?
Definitely my freshman year when we beat JCA in the playoffs.
My favorite memory happened 10 years ago when the Celtics defeated the Hilltoppers 21-10 in Week 1 of that season. That ultimately is what kick-started their 13-1 state championship season.
Coach Seffner, what is your most memorable memory from this rivalry?
Well, okay, since you're talking about kickstarting good seasons, we played them at the stadium one year. Don Lattis was doing the game still, and Stoney was coaching, I believe, and we won 10-2. He said, "Well, it was like a baseball score, you know," and then later on that year, we played them in the playoffs out here, and we kind of took it to them. You know, we just, like I said, it's a rivalry. And there was some stuff that, you know, going back and forth with the kids across town. And so, you know, Danny Ulster, the guy that he's the one that snapped the ball out of the end zone. That's how they got 2 points, okay? But he played one heck of a game when we played him back here. And that set the tone. That was a quarterfinal game, I believe.
It was, yes.
And we ended up, you know, finishing the season with a state championship. That was a good year. That was 02 for us. That was a good year, a lot of fun year with those kids. You know, like you said, they get ready for the big ones, and they got ready for that game, and they shut them out. So that year, technically, Joliet Catholic did not score any offensive points against the Celtics. And that's one of my more memorable things about this, is probably the closest one that allows me to remember, you know. So that's it. That's all I got, boys. What you kids got back there? Anything?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet. You guys could make some noise back there. God, yeah. What the heck? We're going to have to fire you girls. Come on, let's make some noise. All right, I'm good.
Both of these schools are generational places. It's not uncommon for fathers, sons, and even grandsons to have all played for these teams. Gentlemen, what is it that you think keeps bringing people to both of these schools?
Tradition. I truly believe that. Tradition, religion, the faith, and the camaraderie among students. I talk about, I taught for 15 years in a public school after I left here. There's no other place where the camaraderie and the closeness comes in at these two Catholic schools. Nothing compares to it. Where you have, a couple weeks ago, we had the Hall of Champions, and my 94 team was elected. 19 out of 22 guys came from all over the country just for that induction. And the camaraderie amongst those guys in general. I mean, you have the alumni here, you know, out here at these games here and at Joliet Catholic too. But the tradition, the faith base that these two schools have are unmatched by any other schools around, and just the big camaraderie amongst everybody.
Coach Seff, what was your proudest moment as the head of the Celtics?
My proudest moment. God, you guys, that's a hard question now. You should have given me that a little bit ahead of time. Now, proudest moment, you know, we won some championships. I think my whole time here at Providence, I was a teacher, and I enjoyed the classroom immensely. Some of my proudest moments took place in the off season with the football players. You know, we did some really crazy stuff, like we worked, I guess, what do they call it? Plyometrics.
Yes.
And my thing was with you win championships in the off season. We were just talking about that earlier today. And being able to be with my linemen in the off season every morning, not every morning, 2 days a week at 6 a.m. And when the snow is flying, these kids are there, and they're working out hard, developing their athletic skills, and that's what made us good, when we started doing those things. And then we had fun. Like I would take the offensive linemen who get maligned. They never get their name. They never get interviewed. They just get abused. But so we got, I had like 28 offensive linemen, maybe 30, that would come in every day, or every Tuesday and Thursday during the winter. And the last time, like in May, when we finished, a couple weeks before final exams, we would go out and get like 10 dozen Krispy Kremes and pass them out to the linemen and let all the skill guys watch them scarf them down. That was, we had so much fun out here. Like Joe said, kids remember that kind of stuff. You have a blast with the kids. You have a blast with the kids in the classroom. I loved practice. I hated games. Here's another story a lot of people don't know. Like if I was coaching this game today, I would have been home mowing my lawn this afternoon just to get me something else to do. Honest to God, that's the way it was. It just would drive me crazy. But at practice all week, I loved being here. I loved practice. Hated games. I'm done. What do you got to say, Dewey? You didn't say squat out here yet.
All right. So I'll give you a different angle what thinks of it. You look here and you look at Joliet Catholic. I seen Kevin Kickles tonight. Haven't seen him in a long time. Dougie Turning. You have the same thing at Joliet Catholic. What I love about this rivalry is when we go in the parking lots and talk to people, it's all the alumni. The coaches, a lot of alumni. And this guy here, he was the best in a lot of areas, but he was always hospitable. He wore his St. Mary's Nativity hat, and I would follow him.
Yes.
I would come here early just to get a feel for the game so I know what I'm talking about. He'd have 5 billion things going on. He'd always make time for me. After the game, he'd know, here comes Dewey with the microphone. I'd walk with him with the arm around him, walking off the field, the Nativity hat. Even when he won state championships, always gracious with the time. And that's everybody in this area. It's a coaching community.
Any thoughts?
Well, my memories with this guy, being his assistant athletic director, every Wednesday morning, long before any of this turf was on this field, how about it, Seth?
Yeah.
I would get up at 5:30 in the morning on a Wednesday, stop at McDonald's, get us both coffee. I'd park in the parking lot, walk up, and we would paint the field at 6 o'clock in the morning. And the other fond memory I have was that game that he was talking about, that the Celtics put it to him a little bit in the playoff game. I was parking cars, and I was on the other side of Gauger Road parking cars in that subdivision. By the time I got back up here, it was halftime. It was 35-0. Providence was winning. I'm going, what happened in the game? And it was just ridiculous. But there were people all over. Today you can't have, with the trees up there now, there were people standing on the path up there watching the game, and it was a ton of people here at that game. But the fondest memories I ever had was painting the fields with this guy every Wednesday morning. Well, we didn't think it was a lot of fun. We were freezing our butts off, but that's the memories I have. But he was a tremendous coach, a tremendous athletic director, tremendous guy. Everything that, in my opinion, he's a humble guy, but everything Providence football is all about is because of this guy right here, without a doubt in my mind.
Thanks, Joe. Don't anybody ruin that.
This is certainly an exciting time of year. State playoffs are just around the corner. Who looks strong to you guys, and who may be a sleeper or two that can make a run?
Well, I mean, you got to go with Lincoln Way East as far as our area is concerned. I don't think there's anybody even close to them. They got a big game tonight down the way against Naperville Central, but they are, as I call them, the bell cow for our area, and they've been that way for 10 years or so at least. You got a team like Coal City possibly that we saw a couple weeks ago. Wilmington did beat them, but they could be a sleeper. but it all depends what the matchups are. And this year, the way games are going with records 6-3, 5-2, Provi's got to win tonight to get into the playoffs. You're going to get some awfully good teams as a low seed playing a higher seed, and that higher seed is not going to want to see that team coming in as a 27, 28 seed team coming into the playoffs and coming to play you. And you just don't know this year because maybe it's parity, I don't know, but the Catholic League in the East Suburban Catholic and the Southland Prairie that Lincoln Way East is in, those are two of the top conferences, in my opinion, in the entire state, and they just beat up on everybody every week.
More parity this year than in a long time. I think after 4 weeks, there was 125 teams at 2-2. That was the most ever. So you take us to where we are now, and you look at these two teams tonight, Joliet Catholic and Providence. They get in, they're battle tested. They've played a very difficult schedule, unlike a lot of other teams that are going to be in the playoffs. So these are two teams that, depending on where they go and who they match up with, can make a run in the playoffs.
Ask Nazareth Academy's opponents last year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Nazareth was 4-5, and they won a state championship.
Yeah, and if fans can't watch our YouTube live stream tonight from Bishop Caffer Stadium, please turn your radio to 1340 WJLL, the official station of Illinois high school football. We know matchups aren't set yet for next week, but we are hoping to be broadcasting from. Who's the matchup you would like to see in round 1?
Oh, boy. A matchup that whoever plays them, they can win and go far. Like I said before, both of these teams, if they get in, are going to be a lower seed. I think they're going to have a vast advantage against a higher seed. So I don't think it's going to matter who they play. They're going to be to me, an advantage because of the competition, as Dave said, the competition that both of these teams have played.
I looked at the thing 2 weeks ago. Providence was in 6A, and now they're in 5A.
Yep.
And according to the way the thing, there's still no guarantee if they're getting in,
right,
how things are going to shake out, at the end.
Right.
Tomorrow night tells all.
You know it.
I do.
It all comes down to tonight and what few games are tomorrow. There's a lot of teams on bubbles making it, not making it, and then once you figure out, okay, this is who's in 1A through 8A, then as I always call it the IHSA hamster wheel where they spin it up, and then this one's going here, this one's going there. Sometimes the line could be I-80. Sometimes it could go north, south. So there's a lot of potential great matchups, but like Seth said, we'll find it all out tomorrow night.
You just don't know until tomorrow night.
So now it's time to put in our picks. I know you guys cannot pick, but what are your thoughts on this game, and what does each team need to do to win?
Well, in big games like this, it's special teams, I think, plays a big part. Turnovers are definitely going to play a big part. And as Seth would agree with me, line play. If the team that executes offensively on the line and defensively on the line has a good chance to win the game.
Penalties are another big one, and this is a unique situation this week because you have Providence with a big win last week. A lot of momentum going. Joliet Catholic, a rare situation where you have a bye because De La Salle stopped their program. They had basically 2 weeks to get ready. So more unique than ever with those two dynamics coming into this one, but I agree with what Coach said, and on top of that, penalties. You get kids in these games, sometimes the jitters get in, penalties, offsides, things like that, and then you're going to find kids tonight who extremely excel, but it should be a great one.
Yeah, we used to have a thing, big-time players have big-time games against big-time opponents. So if anybody here tonight at Providence considers themselves a big-time player, they better get their big-time game going tonight because they're going to need it. This is a big-time game. I mean, like we said, it's, I think, a team that can control the ball.
Yep.
And Joliet Catholic is notorious for just hogging the ball and, not giving it up. They just, I was watching this freshman game out here, and they're a freshman team. They do the same thing. They just kind of, get 4, 5, 3, 5, 4. They just walk it down the field, and it's a big big deal, and that's the way they've been all the time. So you got to get a stop here and there, and then you got to control the ball on your side. It's just the way it is.
Yep.
All right, Luke, who are you taking tonight?
You know, the Celtics are fighting for a playoff spot tonight, so I got to go with Providence.
Hey, attaboy. Attaboy.
And then for my pick, similar to what you said, JCA's had 2 weeks to prepare, but I think they start off slow. Celtics take advantage of that, and I'm taking the Celtics too.
Okay.
What do your girls say? Oh, come on.
Are you the cheerleading coach too?
No, they probably make more money.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, we're having fun here. That's all.
That's right.
All right, everyone, the picks are in and the experts have spoken. Thanks to everyone for joining us for our pregame night special.
Yes.
It's been such an awesome experience. All the super fans out here tonight. Yep. Let me hear you guys.
Get out of here.
Thanks to all the fans for being down here with us, and stick around for what promises to be another great battle between the Hilltoppers and the Celtics. Stay tuned and enjoy the show.
Thank you guys. Everybody be good, okay?